Hello, my name is Ashley, this is Faithful Rattos, and welcome or welcome back. So today's video is a bit of a vlog. Tomorrow I have a rat show, one of my favourite rat shows, and that is the MRC Christmas show. It's always really good fun and there's lots of things going on, and it's a really exciting day for me because I'm also going to be completing my sitting in for my judges training, and next week I'm doing my judges training written exam. So everything's happening at the moment, but because I am today spending some time getting ready for the show, I thought I would show you some of the stuff that I'm doing to get ready for the show, and then also vlog as much as I can tomorrow as well. So today on my list I have to sort out the tanks, to make the pasta that I'm going to bring for the buffet, and to trim the rat's nails who I'm bringing who needs to be trimmed. So that's hopefully what I'm going to get done today before we have to go out for our Secret Santa event that me and Rat Dad are going to. So that's the plan. Right now I am just finished doing the dishes. I don't know why I'm walking backwards. I've just finished doing the dishes and the pasta is on to boil. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to chop up some veg for the pasta salad, make the pasta cook, all the stuff. And yeah, that's what's happening today. So I have made a nice pasta salad. This is all vegan, vegetables, vegan mayo, and some mustard. So we've got cucumber, tomatoes, red pepper, spring onions, and avocado. This is, I'm hoping people like it. Usually we have kitchen that serves lunch at our show, but the Christmas show we have a buffet, so hopefully people like it. And yeah. And the next job is to cut up the cucumber, which goes in the tanks with the rats. So that's what I'm going to do now. Hello everyone. So in my aim to get ready for the rat show tomorrow, me and Bridges are going to show you how I attempt to trim nails by myself, and if not, Rat Dad usually can help. But the kittens that I have are actually really well behaved, and they do allow me to hold them. So this is Bridges. He is one of the boys, and he does allow me to just hold him, which is helpful. I did have to get Rat Dad to WD-40 these nail clippers because they were a bit sticky. But this is generally how I do them. I just hold them close to my body like this and hold out the feet to be able to cut any nails that do need it. Some rats do keep their nails quite short and others don't. I do find that if you get them used to handling, especially for the nail trimming days, they are much more relaxed about it. And I'm also going to try and cut nails whilst they're a bit sleepy so they're not as wiggly. So that was our back nails. Front nails are usually a little bit more difficult because we have whiskers involved. He doesn't have much of a nail on this finger because he got into an altercation, didn't you? And then this hand I find is the hardest one, but he's being very, very good. I'm going to get Goro next, because I think showing you a wiggly guy might also be helpful. But if I can't get them done by myself, I do have Rat Dad help me. Boop. So, this is Goro, and I didn't breed Goro, so he hasn't been used to me his entire life, which I do think plays a part in just how good Bridges and Porter and the other babies are for their nail trimmings. And Goro has always been a bit more hesitant about handling, but as you can see, with confident handling, they do pretty well. And confident handling goes a long, long way when it comes to handling rats in general, but also like nail trims. confident handling really does help. Okay. You got yourself into a position that was uncomfortable there, bud. But yeah, this is generally how I do nail trims, and I like to do it before a show so that we don't have super sharp nails on the day, because long nails are sharp, but freshly cut nails are also pretty sharp. So I do like to do it the day before or even 2 days before, because that gives them a bit of time to, oh come on Goro, that gives them a bit of time to file down. Goro, you're being very naughty. You're being very naughty. You're being very naughty, buddy. Is this better? Sometimes it just takes finding a different position that they like better, that they're more comfortable in. Nothing happened, buddy. Sometimes they do squeak, but it's important to not let that freak you out, because if you get freaked out while you're doing it, that's when you're more likely to make a mistake and actually cut a quick or something like that. So yeah, I'm just going to check this back foot. But yeah, I think we're all good with Goro too. Good boy. Hi guys, so we had a bit of a twist play out right now. So as I was just going through and clipping the nails of the rats that I'm taking to the show tomorrow, I noticed that Mara, one of the does that I rescued back in June of 2024, has blood, like dark red blood, around her vagina. I'll put a picture up here. And obviously this is leaving me very concerned about Pio, which can be life-threatening. The last time we had a rat, and the only other time we've had a rat with Pio, was when Perdita had it, and she was not well at all, and we tried to go in and spay, and she did not wake up, or she didn't even make it to the operation. She had the sedatives, and she just passed away. So obviously I'm very concerned, and I am trying my best to get an appointment today. It's Friday evening. It's Friday afternoon at 2:30. So I have an appointment at my core practice, but it's not with one of my preference of vets. And this vet is happy to see rats, but I don't know how much that actually means, how much he actually knows about rats and how experienced he is. So that's a bit anxious. I've called Adele, my mobile vet, to see if there's any possibility she could squeeze us in. I am not really hopeful on that front because it is Friday night. She obviously has her own life, and I don't know how far away she is today or what she's doing today, so I really don't know what's going to be possible. So I'm really very stressed about this. Rat Dad loves Mara a lot, and he had lost, the last 2 rats we've lost has been his heart rats, so he's not okay either. Yeah, I will give you an update when I have one on this scenario, but it is absolutely not how I thought this afternoon would go. That is for sure. Hi. So, Adele can't see me because her van has broken down, and the earliest possibly she could push was Tuesday, but she would have to rearrange. And I'm just not very confident with seeing somebody who isn't experienced or rat savvy, especially for something like this. I have been recommended a new practice that opened up recently that has an exotic experienced vet. I've spoken to him on the phone. He seemed very happy to do the surgery, and he hasn't done a rat Pio before, but he's done rat surgeries and he's done Pio surgeries before. So I'm going to go down there and take her just to see what happens and everything. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous. Mara, She's knocking the water bottle off. Yeah, I'm quite nervous. I've never seen this vet before. The price is also really shocking. I am happy to pay it because I don't want to leave Pio. It's really not ideal. And the last time I did, she just got sicker. So, definitely not how I expected this vlog to go. I can tell you that much. So I'm home from the vet, just waiting to see what's going on. But I will show you, there's something exciting coming soon. I'm going to blur this so you can't see what it is. But something exciting is happening soon. That also happened tonight. So, update on Mara. We decided to go ahead and spay her tonight. Now, her Pio, she does probably have one, although it is not super serious right now. It seems to be pretty small. The vet did an ultrasound and also looked at a swab from her vulva underneath the microscope. On the ultrasound, her uterus was not super obvious, which is a good sign. That means that it's not super inflamed or super enlarged or anything like that. Her bladder was obviously very obvious, and you can see that on the ultrasound, which I'll put on the screen. But there's not a very clear two-branched uterine situation, which means that it's probably not too bad yet. We probably caught it early, and the swab does sort of correlate that. Not correlate. I don't know what the word that I'm looking for is. It does sort of like go along with that. So the swab did show that there is some infection. So I'll just explain what the vet said to me. Basically, the fried egg shaped cells are like skin cells, epithelial cells from the inside of the vagina, and the wiggly edged cells around it are infection cells. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what he said they were called, but those cells do indicate infection. So there is an infection going on in there, which does mean that she probably most likely does have Pio. And I went ahead with the spay tonight. Even though it's a little bit rushed because of the time of day. It's currently 5-something p.m. Because to leave a Pio feels really, really risky to me. And if we have the opportunity to spay today, which we do, with a vet that seems pretty knowledgeable about rats, if I'm actually being quite honest, that does just make me feel a little bit better rather than leaving it over the weekend to possibly develop into a bigger infection or a bigger problem. So that's happening now. Hopefully it's good news and she makes it out of it really well. Hopefully that will be the next update that I'm giving you. But, you know, anything could happen when it comes to surgeries. So we are crossing our fingers and really sending good vibes out into the universe. Yeah, that is the update on Mara. And hopefully I can come back with you. And hopefully I can come back to you with a even better update in a couple of hours. So it's Thursday today, so it's been almost a full week since Mara has had her surgery, and she's been recovering really well, taking her medicine. She's been in a hospital cage with a friend. I've been swapping the friends out, but she's been in a hospital cage for almost a week now, and this morning we're going to the vet for a post-op check. Her wound is looking really good. There's sort of a thin line of scab there, but it's looking really good. We'll see what it looks like today. And my hope is that today she'll be able to go back into the main cage, because she's getting really bored and frustrated in the hospital cage. Obviously, it's for her own good and really important that she stays in there to allow herself to heal properly. But that doesn't mean that she's not frustrated by it. She's been having a little bit of very supervised free roam, so she can just run around the floor a little bit. But yeah, I think she's really missing being with all of her friends and being in the cage. She loves running on the wheel and things like that, so we do need to be careful that when she goes back she's ready to, so we don't tear any stitches, especially internal ones, given the nature of her surgery. So yeah, that is what's, whoa, hold on. That is what's happening today, and I'm going to take you along. Been given the all clear. When I get home, I will do like a proper update on the whole situation, because I fear that I didn't. I also never updated you about the show. I didn't film very much. I was feeling very chaotic, stressed, all the things, you know, with everything else was going on. So I will give you an update when I get home. But we've been given the all clear, which is very good. And yeah, also, this is a very Gen Z millennial cusp playlist. I love it. The last time I freaked out. Insane. Best bets ever. Adele. No, I don't mean that. Don't mean that. Hello. So, back from the vets. As you saw, Mara is now in the cage, which I think she is going to be very, very excited about. So, updates. She did absolutely wonderfully, and obviously she's been signed off, as I said, but I'm just going to update you about what actually happened, because I don't feel like I really told you in a vlog. I'm not sure. I might have done already. We'll see when I edit this. But basically, obviously, she had the blood that was around her vagina, and I was like, that is concerning. So we went to the vet, and the vet did two things before we decided to operate. He did a ultrasound, and on the ultrasound, I'll pop up on screen. On the ultrasound, there was no clear indication of a big pyo. So usually on ultrasound, fluid will look black. So you could see the bladder at the top. That black blob was the bladder, but there was no sort of uterus situation going on. There was no evidence that the uterus was big or filled with pus or fluid or blood or anything, which was a good sign. He did a swab from inside of her vagina and looked at it under the microscope. That's called cytology. And on that, he deduced that there is infection going on. So on this picture, the fried egg looking cells are the epithelial cells, so the skin cells from the inside, and the wiggly ones on the outside are the infection cells. I can't remember what they were. I want to say he said they were leukocytes, but that could be incorrect. But anyway, these are infection cells, so that indicated the presence of infection. So we knew we were dealing with infection, and I decided to go ahead when I did, because of, you know, I didn't want to risk her getting sick and worse over the weekend, so we went ahead and we did the spay. So once we did the spay, And I came back to pick her up. He had some very interesting things to show me. So I'll put the pictures on the screen in a second. Warning, they are pretty graphic. So if you don't want to look at them, I'll put a timestamp here for you to not look at them. So basically, yeah, I'm just going to talk a little bit, blah, 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 so people can look at the pictures and I can take that off the screen. So anyway, on the picture, you could see, so when he removed the uterus, there were two things that we didn't expect to find. The first thing, that she had a really big cyst on one of her ovaries. So that is that circly blob thing on the bottom right hand of the picture. And then there was this weird thing on the inside of her uterus. And you could see it sort of like stretched out long ways on the, when before, you could see it sort of stretched out long ways on the inside of the uterus, and then obviously he could open and you could see this is what it looked like when he took it out. And the consensus, based on what he said, what I've experienced of other people and what I've asked, and showing to Adele, my mobile vet, and I think he also asked on a bunch of like vet Facebook groups that he's in, basically the consensus is that it is some sort of fetal remain situation. So because she was rescued and where she came from, she was with boys, she did have Alazin, and it wasn't, she didn't have any babies or anything like that, and she never presented like she was pregnant. So her sister, who was sadly lost now, but obviously was in the same situation, Mimi, she did bleed when they got given Alazin, but Mara didn't. So I presumed that she wasn't pregnant in the first place. But possibly that just wasn't true. Possibly maybe she was a little bit early on. But basically the consensus is that there was fetal remains in there and that they caused some sort of reaction and then an infection, which is kind of not that rare, depending on the situation the rat has been in. And this like little weird blob thing is probably not the actual fetal remains, but a blood clot associated with the remains and the infection. So that's what happened with Mara. And she's doing amazing now. Obviously she's back in the cage, as I just said, and I think she's going to be way happier. She was getting very frustrated and angry being in that small cage, because she's a very, very active rat. We just have to be careful and monitor her to make sure she's not overdoing it, and if she does need to go back in the hospital cage, or if she just needs time in the cage and then time in the hospital cage, we'll do that too. But yeah, that is the update on Mara. I thought I would also update you on how the show went. So in varieties, I didn't get any big wins, although I'm really, really happy with how Porter has done. So obviously the last show, I don't know whether I was vlogging that day, but at the last show he got Best Novice, which is like the best rat in the show from a breeder who isn't stirred, and to be stirred you obviously have to get a certain amount of like points and stuff. So that was a really nice thing. And he got second Dumbo, which I was not expecting at all. He got second Dumbo, and the rat that he got second Dumbo to was a beautiful rat from a breeder who makes consistently wonderful rats. So I was really happy with that, especially as obviously it's my first time. So that's really good. We didn't get any big wins in varieties in general, but I did get 2 rosettes because my rats were like the only ones in that section, which, you know, it's a pity win in some regards, but I do like having the rosettes. So we have another Blue Point Siamese rosette that Riptide won, so that was his. And then Dandelion got the Rex Dumbo rosette, so we got these 2. And the big thing that happened was that Bridges got Kidnap Variety, which is a really special award, I personally think, that MRC do. And it's basically the varieties judge like picks their favourite rat that they would want to kidnap, and Bridges got it. He was so sweet and like lapping up all the attention from like the whole like panel behind the table, which was really nice. Obviously I was there and I was trying to be like incognito about it, because you can't sort of like really like, what's the word, you can't like, you know, tell what's going on. So yeah, that is what Bridget's got, and those are the results from the show. Regarding this vlog and the end of it, so tomorrow we have Adele coming to do health checks on the oldies. That has come around so quick. I feel like I was just making the update video about those health checks, which is crazy. So she's coming, and then Saturday I am heading down to a show, staying overnight, and then there'll be a show on Sunday, which in the show, I was toying whether I was going to tell you about it, but I'm a very transparent person, so I thought I would. I am taking the written test for my judges training exam. Hopefully I pass. If not, I'll let you know. But yeah, see you later. Hello! So I am just waiting for Adele to arrive to come and do health checks. Rat Dad is currently out with his mom, so I'm doing this by myself, which I don't normally do. Rat Dad is usually here. But yeah, I'm very excited for Adele to come over and for her to check on the oldies. I'm going to give you an update on Asriel, but I'm also just going to give you an update on Mara's belly. Could they see that? Mara's belly. So Asriel has interesting things. Can you put her back and then I'll do an update because
put her down.
What?
You put your thing down there and you ran in.
You wanna go in? Wanna go in? Anyway, so we were supposed to be doing updates, health checks on the oldies, but Asriel presented her with some symptoms she wasn't quite happy with, and so we favoured instead having him looked at more thoroughly rather than doing health checks, because I only really have the 2 oldies. Everyone else is you know everyone else is about 18 months, not really old. So he has scarring associated with his ear infection and his respiratory infection history. And at the moment he's quite uncomfortable, especially around his head, it seems, which has only happened the past couple of weeks maximum, which is why I was glad the health checks were coming up. So we went ahead and we used the fancy new X-ray machine that Adele was able to get on the van that gives a 3D picture. It's almost like a CT actually, which is very helpful. It's not the cheapest out there, but it is, you know, very helpful. And I'll put those on screen. I'm trying to point out the things that I mean. He does have scarring in his trachea, and he does have scarring around his inner ear, which would indicate infection, like historic infection, in both of those places. So what we are going to try is steroids to see if that helps with the Mara's in the McDonald's bag, to see if that helps with the general inflammation that he's got. And yeah, just to make him a little bit more comfortable. He's still doing absolutely fine. He's not sort of having any major issues, but they are these very, very minor, I would say, pain symptoms that he has been experiencing. So we're going to have a look at that and see if we can help. I do feel a little bit guilty that maybe I haven't noticed these signs. I have noticed that he just hasn't been as well the past week or two. But, oh, Mara has found the chips in the bottom of the bag. Yeah, so that's what's going on with Asriel, and that's pretty much the update for today, I guess. Yeah. Okay, I know guys that this is not the best angle that there is, you know, however, I'm in a Premier Inn right now. with the rats. So yeah, I'm going to a rat show tomorrow, and tomorrow's Sunday, and it was just really difficult, and this is the first time I've done this. Illegally brought the rats in. The girls are currently having a bit of a run around because obviously they're in small carriers, and they'll be in them overnight and also tomorrow, so I'm letting them have a bit of a run around. It's a very safe, very rat-proofed room, if I'm being totally honest. So I've got Girl-Wise, that's Dandelion, Prune and Sophie. Hold on. And then I'll show you the boys in a second. Hi, pretty girl. Hello. So, my boys are a little bit more cuddlier. So they are sticking with Mom as they have a bit of a explore. Yeah, I feel like a naughty criminal, and it's an exhilarating feeling. Yeah, don't tell the Premier Inn that I've done this, please, guys. I don't want to get banned. So this is going to be the last clip in the video. This vlog has been so discombobulated and it's going to be so long, but there's nothing I can really do. This is what rat life is like. Like, you know, you think one thing is going to happen and then, you know, a bunch of other things happen. So yeah, I apologise for that, but here we are. I thought I would update you about the show. So I actually did pretty well. Bridges came in 3rd in the Shaded Challenge All Age, and Porter came 4th in the Dumbo Challenge All Age, and those are sort of the main highlights, I would say. Then also Bridges got Best Novice, which is really exciting, and he got 3 stars since it was a cup show, which means he's now on 5, and to be a champion you need 8, so he's close. He also got this he also got this lovely trophy for Best Novice that was donated by Zephyr Stud, who is a lovely lady called Mary. So yeah, that is the last clip in this video, because if I don't edit it today, it will never go up and it will never be posted. So yeah, this has been a long one. This has been filmed over the course of like probably 2 weeks. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and subscribe, all the things, join my memberships, all the things, okay? See you later, everyone. Bye!